Reza Aslan, while doing a talk on his new book, was asked a question by the audience, and he went off on Joel Osteen, the televangelist and preacher, and his school of thought, which he represents and a few others represent. It's called the prosperity gospel. Let's listen.
The fastest growing Protestant movement in North America is this movement that is referred to as the prosperity gospel. Do you know what I'm talking about? The prosperity gospel? This is the gospel preached by people like Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes. And when I say people, I mean charlatans. This is the argument of the prosperity gospel, if I can put it flippantly, is that Jesus wants you to drive a Bentley. That's basically what the argument is. That what Jesus wants for you is material prosperity, and that if you literally give, you will literally be given tenfold. That's not a metaphor, as it is in most churches. It's literal. You give me $10 and Jesus will give you $100. This is as profoundly an unscriptural interpretation of Jesus' message that exists. I mean, if there's one thing that is just so clear-cut and just not open to interpretation of any kind when it comes to Jesus' message, is his condemnation of wealth. And yet, not only does this version of Christianity exist, as I say, it's honestly the fastest growing version of Protestant evangelical Christianity in North America. That's because Jesus can be whatever you want him to be. And the Christian message can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, and he's 100% right. And unfortunately, as we talk about often, that's what happens with pretty much all religions. You basically use this thing, this label, this group to then justify any belief system you already have, any prejudices or biases you already feel. You say, well, look, it's not me that believes this, it's just my God, so you can't blame me if you may disagree with it. Right? I mean, the perfect example is conservative Christians in the South, the Baptists who are super anti-gay. I mean, these are the same people that use the Bible to justify being anti-interracial marriage not too long ago. They justified segregation and slavery by pointing to the Bible. And that's the point. Sure, those passages exist that say, yeah, fuck gay people, no interracial marriage, you can't marry out of the same tribe, and on and on. I mean, you could justify genocide, or you can justify peace and love. You could justify helping people out economically and being pro-poor, or you can point, I don't know, maybe one little tiny segment in the entire book can justify materialism and a kind of Ayn Rand libertarianish ideology. And like he's laying out right here, man, it's just silly, because there are some parts, most things are open to interpretation because the book flip-flops all over the place, but there are some parts that have no interpretation at all, no two interpretations, but people still claim that they do. And that's the amazing thing, right? And that's what's scary about religion in general. Look, some people probably need it as a mental crutch because it really is a crutch and they can't make it without feeling there's some sort of supernatural thing connecting them to eternity or whatever, right? But I don't think that's most people. And for most people, religion is simply just embracing the irrational, and it can make somebody who is otherwise rational believe silly things and maybe act in stupid ways, and that's a problem. And the only thing that I would say where I probably slightly disagree with Reza on is this, that, yeah, Joel Osteen is definitely not representing an actual Jesus Christ-like ideology, right? But I would take 10 Joel Osteens over the mix of evangelical Christians we have today on TV, whether it be Pat Robertson or John Hagee or Rod Parsley or a guy like Brian Fisher, who might not be an actual pastor, but he's a right-wing radio host who's uber religious. I would take Joel Osteen and replace all those guys in the snap of a finger. He's not representing Jesus, but he's still much less bad. He's not overtly anti-gay. He tries to stay out of politics, and he just says to people, work hard and feel good about yourself, and it's like a self-help movement masked with Jesus. So yeah, biblically, you're 100% right, Reza. He doesn't represent the scriptures in any way, shape, or form, even weak, minor, off-base interpretations where you're cherry-picking. But he's still better than the other guys, and I think that says a lot about religion in general.